we were able to catch up with a coach at Texas A&M who has her team on campus getting ready for another season. Had a scrimmage, I believe, with Blinn this past weekend. That is Texas A&M softball. Trisha Ford, third year at the helm. First year, a regional in Austin. Second year, a super regional in Austin after winning a regional in College Station. And now the Aggies, on one hand, they have to replace a lot. They do. But if there's one person you got back, it's Emily Kennedy, your star lefty in the circle. She's back. You do lose a lot of production. Rylan Wiggins, Julia Cottrell, Trinity Cannon. Maybe not as much power on this team. You bring in, I think, 10 new freshmen, and is maybe going to have to be more of a defensive-minded approach for the season. But to tie Trisha Ford into the football side of things, a fun dynamic is going on at Texas A&M. If you remember in the spring, what a spring it was for A&M athletics, a national championship in women's tennis, an individual national champion in women's golf, and then needless to say, as the spring progressed into early summer, you had the run from softball into the super regionals, and of course, baseball going all the way to the national championship game at the College World Series. And it was not lost on Mike Elko and other coaches about how much that momentum, that buzz, that excitement can carry over into other sports on campus, and how it's just different when you're recruiting and pitching a school to someone to say, hey, you know, this specific team is set up for success, whereas you look all over campus left and right, and you've got national champions or All-Americans or people that are playing in, you know, the Elite Eight, the Final Four, a championship game, the equivalents of those. So we talked about that in the fall a lot, or in the spring, about how that was maybe resonating, especially with football. Mike Elko's going out to baseball all the time. Obviously, the father of a baseball player, Mikey from College Station High School. And now you have a little bit of the opposite happening, where every program on campus brings all their athletes on a visit to a football game and to experience the 12th man and all that has to offer. Now, that's been going on forever. That's not new. What is new is that they get to bring those athletes in and experience the buzz that we have for this team. 5-1, 3-0 in the SEC. For Trisha Ford in softball specifically, so I'm coming back from the game and I'm scrolling through Twitter, and I see like 3 tweets in a row on the curated feed that are non-chronological, like they're out of order. And Trisha Ford's tweeting out her Gig 'em Aggies gift that she tweets when she gets a recruit. And I'm like, my God, this girl has landed like 5 commits in one day after the visit to the Mizzou game. And then she had like another 1 or 2 on Sunday. So seems like we saw it there a little bit. Not to say that those girls only come here because they went to a good football game, but ask Coach Ford about that dynamic. And she was maybe benefiting other programs in the spring. Now she gets to see that. And she not only talked about the recruiting wins, but also Trisha Ford, Mike Elko didn't think about this until she said it, but upon reflection, totally agree with her. A lot of similarities between the two. And if you know how they're running their program, I think that's a very high compliment over there.
I do believe it begins and ends with our football coach. Coach Elko has been great to all of us. He's been very accommodating. Obviously, he's put a whole different product on the field. You can feel the energy. You can feel kind of, I feel like him and I are very similar. We're very blue collar. We're very, you know, I'm not a big like look ahead person. I'm like, look at what's happening in front of you, worry about that. The process will kind of take care of itself. You've heard that from me for how many times, right? Cease has. And so for me, it's just been a very, it's been a fun environment. I mean, obviously watching volleyball play against some really top programs up in Reed, that's been electric. You know, soccer's had some big matches. So I think for us, it really begins and ends, though, with that football coach, if I'm being honest with you. And I think Coach Elko has done a great job of really embodying Texas A&M and who we are, but embodying all of us as an athletic department and doing anything and everything to help this program continue to grow. And obviously winning football games solves a lot of problems, just like winning softball games. So I think, that Missouri weekend, I was pumped up. So I love college football. So I felt like that was some hard-nosed, in-your-face type of football, like run it down their throats. So it was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was. Fire me up, Trisha Ford. Yeah, no, it was a great game to be a part of. I said it was the best atmosphere that I've been to at Kyle Field relative to the time of day, how the season is going, what's on the table, what there is to play for. And I can only imagine listen, we talked about it on this channel. Quincy Wilson paying a visit to Texas A&M and being there for that game. Like, if you're trying to land a guy of that talent, now listen, Quincy Wilson, a softball player, baseball player, they're not going to decide to attend Texas A&M because they went to a good football game that was really cool. But you get a window into the intensity of the 12th man and the standard of, hey, there's a standard of excellence. It's not just with our team. It's with this team. It's with this team. It's with every team on campus. Every program on campus is capable of, at their peak, and should be contending for SEC championships and potentially national championships. And that's the thing that's so exciting about A&M athletics right now. Number 6 in the Directors Cup last year. And that was without really too much on the football side. And we know, as Trisha Ford said, it really does start and end with football. How that program does as an outsized, not even influence, but in terms of the perception of the state of the athletic department, it can go a long way. We've got men's basketball who just popped up, I think, 13 or 14 in the preseason AP top 25 poll. So things are coming together. We saw it in the spring, and look how much of a difference it can make in the fall with just one team turning it around. And really a big part of it is not just Coach Elko, but those players and that coaching staff got to tip their hats. And I'm hoping you can get that momentum going to carry it over, not just to football, but to all those other sports as well. That's going to do it for this edition of All in Aggies. If you haven't already, subscribe, check us out. Download on the podcast feed if you'd like. If you'd like us to talk about something, if you want to reach me, you got my handle right here at the Ben Peck on Instagram and Twitter. I'm still calling it Twitter. Comment what you think about our stories, what you'd like to discuss more of, takes that you have, and maybe we can delve into at another date. And we'll be back tomorrow with some bonus content and another full show tuned up for you. So All in Aggies on the All in Sports Network, Rogue Sports Media Network. Thank you so much for watching.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.